Are you ready for some fishing? That's a good one. Woo! Oh, you can't even see the crankbait. It's gone. Holy mackerel, you think you didn't want that one? Look at that. I mean, he choked it. When they eat it like that, you know they're wanting it. Oh, look at this one. Got him now. Look at this one. There's a nice Arkansas River bass right there, folks. Good spot. That dude. See what he's yeah. Look at that chunk. They getting fat for the winter. There he is. Got him. How about some fatty crawl? Another nice fish right there. Folks, that fish I was throwing my chatterbait and that fish missed that. So I just turned around and picked up this fatty crawl and turned right around and made three or four pitches just about the same general areas where that fish hit me at, and I caught him. When you miss a fish like that, don't just keep going down the bank. Turn around and pick up some soft plastics or some kind of other type bait. Fish for that fish a little bit longer, because that fish ain't going nowhere. He's right in that general area. And a lot of times you can catch that fish, so it's always a good thing to give him another shot anyway. He made the fatal mistake. There's one right there. This little pig. Look, that dude's been eating some shad. Woo, what a good on that dude. Oh. Oh, thank you, he said. Right on the end of that old snag right there. Man, them old root balls on the end of them trees are really, really good. There's another one. Hey, a spinnerbait eater. Oh, that one got a big old gut too. They've been filling up. You know, folks, the conditions have changed just a little bit here, well, quite a bit. I mean, we started out this morning to catch them on the chartreuse, blackback, square bill crankbait, and it was cloudy. But now the sun's come out, and we still got the wind with us, so I've changed up a little bit, and the water's got a little bit clearer back in here where we're fishing. So I've made a little bit of a change, and went to the spinnerbait, just because, you know, like I said, the conditions have changed a little bit. So I've made a little bit of a change, and it seemed to help. I was talking about a lot of the shad and stuff moving up in the creeks. If you can look at the screen here on my Humminbird, you see all this. You see all this bait. This is all shad right here. Big wads of them. Look at all that bait. There's one. Oh, he knocked slack in the line when he hit it. I mean, he knocked the far out of it. Look at that little chunk. How about that? There's a nice Arkansas River bass right there. Shake that head. See you later. Spinnerbait strikes again, right on the edge of the creek channel. You know what? Another thing what I'm doing, folks, is I've slowed way down and I'm fishing a 1/2 ounce. This is just a 1/2 ounce homemade spinnerbait that I've made, and I'm fishing it really, really slow on these stumps that are right along the edge of this creek channel. And that's exactly what that fish was on. In the fall, late fall time of the year, early winter, a lot of fish are gonna start moving up in these creeks because they're following the bait. The water's a lot clearer. I'm just fishing real slow. Right. He's going in circles. Oh, Whitey. Boy, ain't he a nice one though. I mean, he's a nice one. Look at that dude. He hit it right at the boat, boy. He just going around and around circles. We got back out on the main river now, and what I'm doing is I'm just doing some what we call jetty jumping, running from one little jetty to the other. As you can see here behind me, they're just what they are. They're just revetments that kind of block the current, but it really makes good fish holding areas, especially when they're running some current. You want to sit over out here on the back side of them things and just throw a crankbait or spinnerbait and just throw it across there and let it and bring it with the current. I mean, you'll feel it coming over them rocks. And a lot of times them fish will be sitting right over on the back side, waiting for the shad or whatever to wash across the tops of the rocks. You may have to make several casts, but just keep chunking and chunking and chunking, and you never know. I mean, you may pull up to one jetty and you may catch 3 or 4 off of it, just one right after the other. But there's several of them up and down the Arkansas River here, and you can just jump from one to the other, and you'll find that magic one that's loaded up. It's a good pattern to run on the river, especially if they're running current. There he is. That's a good one. Oh, don't put it up. That's a good fish. Look at there. Look at there. How about that? That is a little dandy right there. See you later. You know, probably one of the coolest spots to catch fish here on the Arkansas River, folks, is when you find where the water is draining out of some of these little oxbow lakes in here that they've dammed off that you can't hardly get your boat into. These are excellent places to catch fish. I don't know how many times I've pulled up these kind of places and catch a fish. They're perfect, especially when you got the current coming out there like it is, and as you can see how clean the water is that's coming out. I mean, that's really awesome. And a lot of times they'll just sit right out here on the outside, but that fish was way up in there toward the front end of it. So don't never be afraid to rear back and launch your bait way up in there, because you never know, just like that fish right there. I mean, that fish was way back there. And I already made 5 or 6 casts inside there before that fish ever decided he wanted to get it. So you don't ever want to pass these kind of places up on the river. Anytime you're on any kind of a river system and you see something like this, don't never pass it up. Stop and fish, especially if there's some water coming out of there. You know what they do is when the barges, the locks up there, they're locking a barge or something, the water will come in and out. And if you're here at the right time when that's going on, that's a lot of times that's when you're going to catch that's when you're going to get bit. So a lot of it is just timing, being here at the right time. I mean, if we sit here long enough before too long, I mean, you'll see the water going back in. But these are excellent places. You don't never want to pass them up. I mean, if you don't get bit at one spot, just move on up to the next one, because you'll find that one deal. I mean, we've already fished 2 or 3 of them and haven't caught nothing but a drum. But you'll find that one. You'll find that one that's got a really good fish bite, or it may have 3 or 4. Ooh, I think if I make one more cast, my arm's gonna fall off. Well, folks, I think we're gonna get ready to call it a day today. And you know, we had a really good day here on the Arkansas River. Fished up and down, all the way up and down Pool 13. You know, caught fish several different ways, as you can see. The square bill crankbait, chartreuse and black with a black back, spinnerbait. You know, got into clear water, and then you know also caught one on the chigger crawl. You know, when you're fishing up and down the Arkansas River like this, I mean, you want to look for specific pieces of or try to get established. If they were on rock or if they're on wood. And run with that type pattern, and it'll work usually all the way up and down the river. You know, some of the pools up and down here, you know, they have a little, their characteristics are a little bit different. You know, one may have more backwater areas than what some of the other ones does. You know, the water may be clear. So take all that into consideration, you know, when you're working up and down the Arkansas River pools here. But a couple of baits, I'll promise you, that will work all the way up and down is the spinnerbait and a square bill crankbait for sure. I mean, you had them 2 baits tied on, and it'll help you catch some fish. We're out of time this week. Take your kids fishing every chance you get, and we'll see you back here again next week.
Thanks for watching this week's Hooked on Fishing with your host, Mark Goines. Be sure and join Mark again next week at this same time. Hooked on Fishing with Mark Goines. Brought to you by the following fine sponsors: